Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Whatever This Is podcast. I don't have an intro planned this week. I don't have an air horn. I just have a guest. We have a lot. We have a lot to talk about. It was another depressing week in what do you call it? European football. Apologies if the screen took a second to get on you guys' screen. If you are watching on YouTube or SportRex, but let's dive into it. This week again, I am joined by the one, the only, my evergreen guest, co-host. Mystic Mac, Artem, what's up? How are you feeling? How are you doing? And what's
I
going on?
felt I felt a little bit offended there for a second when you called me the guest.
I
I
call
feel
you an
like
evergreen
you know.
guest, though, so it's like spiced it up.
Okay, fine. I'll take evergreen guest, but
Yeah, see,
co-host would also do.
you're you are evergreen. Just sounds like a nice word, doesn't it? Though, because you could put
I
evergreen in
mean,
front of everything, and it sounds good.
not necessarily.
You're hating on a word. You are hating on
No,
a
like
word.
because if you put like evergreen torture or something, it's not nice anymore, is it?
Why are you putting evergreen in front of torture? Yeah, that
You said
agreed.
you said it. You said it works with every word, and it clearly just doesn't. So
I didn't mean torture, man. It doesn't work with murder, obviously. It doesn't work with stuff like that. But Artem has ruined
this.
my intro once again.
Well, no. You forgot to announce that we're now a murder podcast.
We've always been a murder podcast. We murder. What do we murder? We murder.
Actually,
You there?
yeah. You know what it is.
What
This
is it?
this this is an evergreen torture podcast because watching Russian football can not be described as anything other than torture.
He saved my intro. Artem has saved my intro, and I respect it. He found a way to link it, and I love that. Yeah, but he is spot on. This podcast is evergreen torture because like 3 to 4 of these episodes are essentially the same, where we come in here and just be sad about Russian football. It's similar this week. It's not. It was pretty similar until yesterday. This week though, there are still a few changes. Before we start though, we would just like to say rest in peace, send our prayers, condolences to the friends and family, to the people of Argentina, to football fans everywhere. Unfortunately, as you know, Diego Maradona passed away at the age of 60. Absolute legend, one of the greatest footballers of all time. I mean, neither of us were around to see him, but like, there's a few people in every sport that are just in a different league, and Maradona was one of them, along with Pele and the rest. We just know, when Maradona is there, you're talking of someone who's larger than life. A great person. He came to India a few times, always full of enthusiasm, and just seemed to be a genuinely good person who meant well. Adam, would you like to say anything about Maradona so we can get into
I
our usual topics?
I think you've covered it really well there. He was one of the greatest players of all time, and he'll be dearly missed by a lot of people all over the world. And just rest in peace to a legend.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it really made me sad, man. First of all, I didn't even believe the story, and then it just set in, and it was really sad. But we hope he is in a better place and enjoying life up there in heaven. But moving on, let's start off with RPL. RPL was back. It feels like it was 3 weeks ago, but it actually was 4 days ago. Krasnodar Tambov. Krasnodar finally got a win. Remy Kabayev back from COVID or injury, whatever, got a goal, got the win. Rotor Rural, no one cared. A few good games here, actually. Artem, are there any in particular that you want to discuss? Ahmad Zenit, maybe? Bernard Berisha. Do you think he's a twat?
So I think he's a twat.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch the game, so what would make me think he's a twat? The
You
fact that he
remember
just
the
scored 2 goals.
no. You remember the last time, and you posted this on NC as well. You remember in the cup game when he won a penalty and started celebrating like he'd won the World Cup?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he just does that. He does it again. He does it every time he scores against Zenit. He's just extra with his celebrations. He's a great player, by the way.
No,
But
you know, I do rate that though. Like I like that level of shithousery from players, like celebrating penalties before they're even scored. Oh, I love it.
fair enough. Rakitsky got a red card. Yamans Kuzyaev got a goal. Uh, and you know what, Artem? No, actually, you know what? I'll make my point when we discuss the Champions League because it's important. Rotor Rural, banger of a game, ended 0-0. Spartak Dynamo, the first German derby in the RPL, ended 1-1. That was a good game. Good few goals over there. And Lokomotiv Arsenal 1-0 got Luka red card again. CSKA dropped points against Sochi. I got a prediction wrong again. I told Artem on chat that CSKA are going to win the league. And like 5 minutes after I said that, Sochi got their equalizer. Rostov 2-0 Rubin. Bayramyan. Artem, do you want to tell the people about my Bayramyan jinx? Because I know you do.
Yeah, so Hanu said that he's like Kuzev, and what you called him something like an average player, except
Yeah,
worse.
I said that I don't understand the point of Colin Bayramyan because he's just like a player who can play many positions and is like not amazing anywhere. He's just like a worse Kuziaev with an afro. And then Bayramyan scored two goals. The last time he scored for Rostov was in 2019, and that was a brace against CSK as well. It just tells you, man, I have powers with my jinxing abilities. But Artem, by the way, we are officially 15 games deep into the RPL. What are you saying for champions, and what are you saying for the European sports, and what are you saying for relegation? We didn't even plan this, but we're just doing a mid-season review now.
Oh, Jesus Christ. For
Put you on the
Champions
spot
League,
again.
no. For Champions League, I'd like to hope that Zenit would come in there, but to be honest, I'm kind of skeptical with the way we've been playing recently.
Right.
I will say CSKA and Spartak, just purely because if Zenit then get into Champions League, I'll be very, very happy and surprised.
Right.
Europa League, there's only one place, right?
Yes, the top five basically are the European sports.
Okay,
Third is
cool.
Europa League.
We'll
Yeah.
count the Conference League and all that, right? Third spot, then I'm gonna say Zenit.
Right.
And fourth and fifth, Dynamo just look great, so I want to put them in there and Krasnodar so that you have to pay me €5.
Krasnodar are not. They're not making it, bro. They are not making
Oh,
it.
I
But
mean, you say that they're only 5 points off, and they've got a
no,
good
no.
run. Remember, we were looking at it.
Yeah, but I don't know how far they're going to go with that run. I'll tell the people my European spots first, and then we'll go to relegation, even though nobody really cares. CSK and Spartak, I think top two. Um, I think Zenit third, Dynamo fourth. So we're the same for the top four. Fifth, I feel like Akhmat are going to do it, man.
Yeah, they're not.
I, you think Krasnodar have a better chance than Akhmat, though?
Yeah, no, because it's not that I think. I know that they have a better chance.
You don't. Akhmat are good. You hating, man.
No, Ahmad are good. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying that they're not top five good. Like, I'm telling you now, in 2 weeks' time, we're going to be talking, and Krasnodar are going to be ahead of them in the table.
I don't know about that. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, guys, I am going to put Akhmat. I embarrass myself with my predictions all the time. I feel like this could be another one. By the way, we are like recording as the CSK Feyenoord game is going on. So if there's any updates, I'm probably just going to shout in the middle while Artem's talking. So keep an eye out for that. What are we saying for the relegation spots?
Oh, right. Well, I think the bottom two are the bottom two,
Right.
Rotor and Ufa. I just can't imagine either of them are going to pick up enough points to stay up. They might get lucky and get into the playoffs or something like that. But even like they're Ufa are 5 points off that at the moment, and Rotor are four, so it's not looking likely. Uh, I'd say Tambov are probably going to be in there for the relegation playoffs, and then see, I don't think Khimki have been decent in recent times, but I feel like Arsenal Tula could still turn it on. So I'm gonna say Khimki are gonna be the other team joining them in the playoffs.
Tambo were dying though. Are they going to be a club by the end of the season?
Oh yeah, they said that they were going to play their game this week.
Their players are saying they're not going to play their games. The players haven't been paid in
Shit.
like 6 months, and the club
You
has
know what
pulled
though?
funding. They don't have a stadium.
You know what though? I wouldn't bet against one of Ufa or Rotter not picking up enough points for the rest of the season anyway.
Wait, so what happens if a club goes bankrupt? Does that mean that That means Ufa or Rotor will stay up, right?
Uh,
Or
not
does that mean
necessarily.
I don't remember because it has happened before. I just don't remember what happened when it happened.
No, see, I remember it specifically happening with a couple of clubs. Like I remember, I think it was Tomsk. At one point, they stopped paying their players, but the thing is, they were bottom of the league already. I don't know what happens if the team isn't bottom of the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because I don't think there's point deductions like there would be in a lot of other leagues.
no, there's not.
I've,
It's
I,
Russia.
yeah, I've never seen a point deduction in Russia. Um, so I actually, if anyone listening has ever seen a point deduction in Russia or knows if they even exist, let us know.
Let us know.
Um, but that's the thing. I feel like Tambov will still even playing their youth players or something like. I,
Okay, here's
I wouldn't be surprised if they stayed ahead of either Rota or Ufa, is what I'm saying.
yeah, they're playing too well for their players are playing too well for players that haven't been paid in ages. Is what I'll
Yeah.
say. Respect to them, but it is also funny. But here's my prediction: Tambo will not be in the RPL next season.
Okay.
I don't care if it's because they cease to exist or if they get relegated. I don't want to see them in the RPL anymore.
Hmm.
Contribute nothing. Is a bad club. No disrespect to the players because there are some good players, but still. Artem, I do want to talk about Ufa Khimki. This
Okay.
is the content that everyone came here for, Ufa Khimki, and not the Champions League.
Oh, of
You
course.
have you ever like watched a football game, right? And
No,
it
never.
just no, I mean, have you ever watched a football game and it's just the aesthetics and the vibe just feels right? Like the ball is moving across well, it's just the lights are on. Have you ever felt a game just the vibe is just good while you're watching it on TV? Like, oh, this is going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I know exactly what you're talking about. Like
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how to relate it to Ufa here, but
no, that's the thing. It's not describable in words. It's really hard. And then some games you just know from the first minute it's going to be a terrible game. It just
yeah.
there's why, right? Now this game I just tuned into it for a joke, and it was actually a really good game to watch because first of all the kits were amazing. Ufa have the best kits in the league. It's just so good. Their kits are so good, man. Like honestly, really good. And the ball was just zipping across the whole pitch. Like the lighting was perfect. The goals were really good. It was just free flowing football. So I really enjoyed that game. I didn't watch all of it, but I watched like a good 70-75 minutes. It was really fun. And Kimki do look good. Credit to them. So it was just one of those games. Uh, Coming to a game that didn't feel good. Basically the entire Champions League campaign for Russian clubs. Artem, we are, I think, now 21 games without a win. Russia as a country, whether that's the country or the clubs. Let's start off with Krasnodar Sevilla. Uh, I'm presuming you watched this game. Take us through it. Google won't load it, but take us through it.
I mean, for first 4 minutes, Rakitic gets a goal, nice volley into the bottom
Yep,
corner. Krasnodar get one back through what is described as a scrappy goal on Twitter, but it wasn't very scrappy.
you're really good.
Um, and then just as we've witnessed before many times, Russia have heartbreak right at the death of the game.
Mm.
95th minute, Munir scores, and it's pain. We were in Spain without the S, except we weren't in Spain. We were in Krasnodar, but it doesn't
Mhm.
matter. It was a bad feeling especially because at one point it actually looked like even if Krasnodar got a draw, it wouldn't mean too much because Rennes were going to get a draw against Chelsea, but they
Uh,
also lost in the last minute. So at least there's that kind of positive to take. Next week is a final, Krasnodar
yeah,
against
next
Rennes.
next week we'll
It's a
get
massive game.
all of next week as a final. But I mean, this game, guys, was really disappointing. It was a typical Russian game. It was a typical Krasnodar game. And Krasnodar are the Spurs of Russia. They just never win. They always get your hopes up, but they never win anything. I think that's what they're going to be renowned as. They have good players. They have great everything. But it's just sad, this game. I have another hot take for you, Artem, that I want you to debate or agree with. I
Go
think
for it.
Wanderson is the most influential player in the league, alongside Vlasic and Zuba. Like Wanderson, when Krasnodar have Wanderson, it's a completely different team. And when Zenit have Zuba, it's a completely different team. when CSK have Vlasic, when CSK without Vlasic is no team. Let me know what you think of that. And Wanderson, man, what a player. I love.
I think he's influential for sure. I don't know if he's the most influential player in the league or if he's even the most influential at Krasnodar. Like, don't get me wrong, I haven't watched every single Krasnodar game, but every time I watch Krasnodar and Kabe is playing, it seems like he's the man. That's who stands out for me in that team.
Yeah, that's fair though. That is fair. All right, here's another question for you. Do you swap Wanderson with Malcolm?
From a purely
No, there's no
like
purely. Take right now. God is offering you a chance to swap Wanderson with Malcolm. You're a Zenit fan. Do you take it or not?
yeah.
I take it in a jiffy.
Oh yeah, I take it as well. Like we'll get to the Zenit game now in a minute, but
Yeah.
just disappointing. Like it's crazy how much like even a couple of months ago I was like, yeah, like Malcolm, he hasn't done much yet, but he's been injured. He's gonna come back and he's gonna be one of our best players. That just hasn't been the case. So yeah, I would take Wanderson. I agree that he's very influential. I just don't think he's the most influential player in the league or that team.
Yeah, that's the thing. And you know what? Okay, let's get to Zenit. Get to our points about Malcolm, because Zenit have been just apathetic in this entire European campaign. They've Krasnodar and Lokomotiv have results. Lokomotiv have been very good. Krasnodar have gotten going at times. They've looked like a team that might win. But at no point in any of the four games have Zenit looked like a team that's just dominating or that's just playing well. Uh, Lazio played them. Ciro Immobile scored a banger 3 minutes in. Absolutely brilliant goal. Cherchesov was just standing, had no chance to get to the ball. Then Parolo scored a banger again. And then Juba got a goal back. And then Immobile scored a penalty. I don't even know why I didn't watch it that part, but I just know a penalty was given. And Zenit Russian clubs just concede. I put out a stat on RFN as well, which was like Russian clubs have conceded like 24 or 26 goals in Europe this season, and 16 of them have either been penalties or goals scored after the 75th minute, which is really sad. But um, Artem, first of all, does Semak need to go? And what are your thoughts after Zenit? Zenit and Krasnodar, by the way, are officially knocked out of the Champions League. The most they can get is Europe. So yeah, Artem, as a Zenit fan, what's your mind state like?
Okay, well, in terms of does Semak need to go, I still believe that he can turn it around. Like I'm not 100% convinced that a change is what's needed. I'm starting to move that way, but I'm not convinced yet. I'd be inclined to stick with him. But half that squad the other day when I was watching that game, like at the start of the season, like I was saying that Zenit have one of the strongest, like definitely the strongest team in Russia, and definitely strong enough to do really well in Europe. And my God, like have I been proven wrong in every single European game? And the funny thing is that like the players we signed this summer, like Kuzayev, we re-signed this summer, so I'm counting him as a sign. He's been good. He's actually been good. Lovren's been good.
As a free player, Kuzayev is definitely. I'm not mad at it at all.
Like I like look at the squad, right, and tell me, is there five players who have performed better than Kuzayev on in the whole squad,
No,
not
there's not.
just
I agree with you. I agree. You can say all the good things about Kuzayev, and I'm not going to disagree with you at all.
like for me, like for example, Mikhail Cherchesov. Everybody like if you listen to this podcast, you know what I think of him. He's the type of keeper who only makes saves he's meant to, like he's supposed to make. Like he's never like he made one save the other day against Lazio, and I actually texted Hanu and I was like, I think that's the first save he's ever made that he wasn't like 100% expected to make. So
Yeah.
he's a safe choice, but he's a backup at best. Um, we need a new goalkeeper. Rakitsky, I don't know what's been going on with him. Like he's just not been his best recently. I still want to stick with him. Zhirkov needs to
Fuck
like I
off.
love that guy, but he needs to go. Um, like even Barrios, one of
Yeah,
both mine
that's the
and your
one.
favorite players.
That's the one that got to my heart, man. Barrios gave away the penalty. He's not been his usual self, and that it got to me. It hurts. Deep in my heart, it
It
hurts.
does. It does. And like that's it's just it's a sad reality. I feel like we're gonna have to do some business in January for sure. Malcom, oh my god, I cannot, like, if we recoup any amount for him, like if
He,
we get 20 million, if we get 20 million,
this guy
take
was
it.
on this guy was on Discord like 3 weeks ago. And I asked him, Artem, do you think we'll get 40 million from Malcolm? He was like, yeah, bro. Like PSG will give 40 million for Malcolm, bro. Now he's like, if we can get 20 million, it'll be good. But
Okay, first of all, it wasn't 3 weeks ago.
it was
And
like
second of
three
all,
weeks ago.
yeah, no, it wasn't 3 weeks ago. It was like, I don't know, it was definitely more than 3 weeks ago. Either way, yeah, I thought for sure, because like if PSG come in from after a couple of good games or good season, you could get 40 million. But now I'm just like, I don't know where those good games are going to come from. Like, I don't know if we're like just not playing to his strengths, but like he's he just seems toothless.
That's the thing. I think we're not playing to his strengths because
What could we do differently to play to Malcolm's strengths? What could we do
not
differently to change the Zenit squad?
right. Okay, I'll give you a reply, but it'll take time. So let me big up. Let me make my Lovren point. Right, Lovren was the least rated, or like on SofaScore and Who Scored. He was the worst Zenit player for this game,
Yeah.
and I had a good laugh about it.
But
But
no,
I
no, no.
no 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 no
Before
hear
you
me out.
go
Hear
on
me out.
about before
Yeah, go on. What's your point?
you said hear me out and then you let me hear. You heard
Yeah,
me out. Anyway,
yeah, I'm hearing you.
can I just say, right, the reasons that Lovren's scores sometimes are so low on those sites is because when Lovren, like when the team goes down, right? Have you not noticed that Lovren starts running the pitch and starts trying to score because he knows that no other player is going to do that. Like, so
I was.
he's
You
caught
thought
away from his position.
exactly. You thought I was gonna hate on Lovren, but I was gonna say that Lovren had the least rating, but I feel like Lovren has been a really good signing because he's come up with goals. And this is me, by the way. This is the guy who was
Yeah,
just every week who would come in here and diss Lovren. But Lovren seems to care is the main thing. He seems to come up with the goal he scored against Akhmat. He just seems to be a player, the one of the only players in that. Zuba always plays like he cares. He just
yeah.
Lovren seems to be a player that cares, so I've got to respect him for that. But my gripe originally with Lovren was that he cost 12 million, and I thought we could do better business for 12 million. And looking at Wendell, I feel like I feel like that 20 million could have also been well spent. But I do feel like for the 32 million that Zenit spent on these two guys, this squad could have been properly like made into a much, much better squad. Even
For
if
no,
you
no, no. Forget the Lovren money there because we needed a centre back, and you
okay,
just like
fine, yeah, all right,
like
fine, even with 20 million.
I'm at the point where like Lovren, like you said, he's the player who cares. He's always on the pitch. You can always tell that he leaves 100% on the pitch. Like I'm to the point where I'd put him as director of football slash footballer, because
Mm.
he is gonna find other players who's gonna do that. You know what I mean? Like he's no
Oh
worse than
yeah,
Arshavin.
you're right. Definitely is not worse than Arshavin. But that's the thing. For 20 million, I feel like this squad could have been rebuilt. And you guys, like, you Zinkovsky would cost 4 million at maximum, and I would have Zinkovsky in this team in a second.
For sure.
Right? Players like Zinkovsky, players like another Russian centre back. Even Chistiakov is fine, but he was just signed so late, it makes no sense. Some players from like Armenia and stuff like that, Belarusian players, Armenian players, just to cope with the limit. That 20 million could have really been well spent. But I think Zenit have the players to play really good football, but they don't. I think if you shift to a 4-3-3, or if you even shift to like a if you shift to like no, if you shift to a 4-3-3 with Malcolm, and of course that means you're benching Sardar Azmoun. But if you play with one striker and you let your wingers play like wingers, and you let Karavayev attack, because Zenit's fullbacks aren't exactly fully attacking fullbacks. They're not like Marcelo and Carvajal or players like that who are always overlapping, right? So that Carvajal, I mean not Carvajal, what am I saying? Malcom has to like run with the ball from the halfway line at times. That's not what he's good. He's good at like taking on players quickly, beating his man, getting the ball into the box, scoring or cutting inside, doing things like that. He's not the player. He's not Vlasic. He's not gonna start an attack and end it. He's not that type of player. And it doesn't help that Malcolm is on the right wing trying to make things happen, and on the left wing you have Zherkov. It's just very lopsided. So I mean, of course, he's not worth 40 million. Uh, for 40 million, you would for a record signing in the league, you would expect a player to just pop up with a lot more. But I do feel like a better manager would suit him more. Uh, we're gonna get into Cherchesov in a bit, Artem. But how sad would you be if Cherchesov signs for Zenit?
That's not a rumor, is it?
No, it's not a rumor, but Alexei Spector in the chat put like a really good point that fans of Russian clubs should keep in mind that if Cherchesov is sacked as the Russia coach, he will be linked to every team that sacks their manager or has a manager that's close to being sacked. And right now in the Russian elite, Zenit are the club that are closest to sacking their manager. I don't think it'll happen, but like, how would you feel if it happens?
Jesus, I really like. I hope Zenit have like are thinking more long term than that. Um, that would really annoy me, to be honest, because I think that it would be better, like, I don't know, send fucking Semak on some tactics courses or something. I think that's my biggest issue with Semak is that he's like tactically a bit of a fraud. Like, um, but like I feel like there's no point in sacking him if you're gonna bring in Cherchesov. Like, if like you're bringing in someone who's like, okay, don't get me wrong, Cherchesov's better at tactics than Semak, but
Is
um,
he?
yeah, he is definitely. Cherchesov's managed to out tactic Spain and get Russia to the
Eh,
quarterfinal of
well,
the. No,
okay,
look,
fine. I'll take it. I'll take it. I won't argue.
like, look, I'm not saying it's good football or anything. It's just pure tactics. Like, it's not. It's kind of like the way we played against Spain was the same way that like Mourinho plays or something. It's not entertaining, but it gets the
Yeah.
results. Like sometimes, just sometimes, I wish Samak had that about him. Like just sometimes, I wish that we could grind out a result, but we never do.
Nah, see, that's not. I get what you're saying, but I won't let you do that because for 2 years, Zenit won the league because they ground out the results. That was the main thing. Zenit never played attractive football, but they always got the results against Ufa and teams like that.
Yeah,
And
but
it's just
it's
this
different to get
season
the
that
results
it's
against them and get the results in the Champions League, which actually matter. No, right. It sounds like now I'm on Ches's side, but I'm not. Okay,
yeah,
there
no, he's
needs to
not.
be a healthy balance of both. We need to be able to play good football and attack and score goals against the smaller teams, and we also need to be able to defend against teams who are much better than us. Like if we come up against Bayern or Real Madrid or anyone like that, we need to be able to hold them off.
Hmm.
But like, I don't know. Is there a manager out there that would go to Zenit? Do you think that could fill those kind of two criteria?
He's certainly not Russian, that's for sure. He's not
No,
a
no
Russian
way.
manager.
No.
I don't know. I feel like, I mean, there definitely is, right? But I don't know the name. I mean, there are a few foreign managers out there. There's a few hipster managers out there. There's that Belarusian German guy who manages Kairat, who's really good. And I would love to see him at Zenit, but I don't know if he'll work. He's like the Belarusian Tedesco, but better. So keep an eye out for him. But like I really can't name anyone. But I do feel like Samak is gonna get fired in the winter.
You think?
He, he's not making it out, man. And that's
Yeah.
gonna mean Ribalta goes, and that's gonna mean Arshavin comes in. So
Oh.
so I mean,
Oh.
but Lokomotiv are a good football club, aren't they?
They're a great football club, especially when it comes to playing in Europe this season. Like say what you want against their league results and the likelihood of them getting back into Europe this season. They've been absolutely fantastic. they held off Atletico twice, and
And
just
the great thing is,
amazing.
yeah, they held off Atletico like Atletico holds off people. Just unreal defensive play. Like Murillo is prime Sergio Ramos now. Vedran Corluga is prime Maldini. Guilherme is prime Yashin. Just their defense just comes to light. And Guilherme got red carded against Dinamo. Corluga got red carded against Arsenal Tula. It's like a completely different team in Russia and in Europe. So why do you think that is though? Why do you think Lokomotiv are so good in Europe and so bad in Russia? And why do you think Lokomotiv are the best Russian club in Europe this season? Do you think it's because of Nikolic? Do you think it's because it's a foreign manager? Because their squad is trash. It really is. But what's the secret, you think?
I think the secret is that every other Russian team has been so bad that 3 draws is looking like a good result. Um, like had they just won one game, that would be the same the same amount of points at the end of the day. Um,
Nah, I mean, yeah, go on. But
like it's weird. I do think it's mainly to do with Russian clubs doing so bad overall, and Lokomotiv are kind of like the silver lining. But they've just been solid. It's almost like Nikolic. Um, obviously Siomen was never great in the Champions League, so
fuck Semi.
it's almost like Nikolic is like, right, watch this, and just showing everyone what they can do in Europe and sacrificing the league in the meantime. But I don't know. That's just what it seems like to me. What about you?
I don't know. By the way, Semin is a fraud. I'm so glad he left Russian football. I hate that guy. Um, I just found out today that when Murillo was signed, this guy said, I've never seen the player, I've never heard of him. I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's going to help the team. That's the type of grumpy
Mm,
dinosaur Lokomotiv had. And look at Murillo now. What a player, what a baller. So I'm glad he's gone, honestly. Just he's a legend and everything, but I don't like the guy at all. But no, I feel like Lokomotiv have really been good this season. Even in contrast with how bad other Russian clubs have been, I think even if the other Russian clubs were doing really well, I think we would still appreciate them. Because how many clubs are there in football that would not take 2 draws against Atletico and a well fought loss to Bayern? Like any club of Lokomotiv's level, any club of the the B League level would take Lokomotiv situation right now. So I think they've done pretty well. Uh, you got anything else to say to that, or do we just look forward to next week, which is the biggest week in Russian football history?
no, it's facts. And yeah, next week is it's a bit of a mad one. It's the same teams that were playing in the first week, when we had that stream, and it's just gonna be mad. Like we could have the best week ever if all the Russian clubs got results and managed to put themselves in position to get Europa League. Like if we somehow the 2 or 3% chance there is of all the Russian clubs being in the Europa League in the winter,
That would be
after
mad.
winter, sorry, that would be sick. That would be so good.
But you know how mad it would be for like because these four weeks have been absolutely horrible. Everybody agrees with that. Can you imagine if we still managed to
Maybe
have
they've all
like
just been building. They've been breaking us down so they can build us back up.
but like let's look forward to some of those games, right? Lokomotiv Salzburg is the first one. Salzburg have 1 point, Lokomotiv have 3 points. Lokomotiv, if they get a win, they're through to the Europa League at the very least. They could even get the Champions League second round, right? Which would be insane, but
Could
it's
you
not going to
imagine
happen.
the scenes?
Nah, that would
Could
be mad.
you imagine the scenes?
Nikolic deserves to be like knighted after that. And that's how crazy that achievement. It would be one of the biggest achievements in like Russian club football. That squad, that's just mad. But okay, Artem, do you because Salzburg had more XG versus Bayern. Manuel Neuer had like an amazing performance. Even if, by the way, even if Loko get a draw, Salzburg's last game is against Atletico Madrid, and the pressure will be on Atletico Madrid. So you would think that a draw for Lokomotiv is also pretty good. But Artem, what do you think will happen next week? What's the result going to be?
I'm super annoyed that you just mentioned XG. Like it was some real stat.
Mm, it really isn't.
Exactly. Like even we were talking about FM before this, right? Can you turn XG off in FM 21? Because
I don't
if you
think so.
can, I'm going to be doing that. Anyways, what was the question?
What do you think is going to happen next week in Lokomotiv Salzburg?
uh, I'm kind of scared. Um, but I think I'm gonna stay positive. Lokomotiv have been great, so I think that they'll get a win. I hope.
Who's Lokomotiv playing this week?
Uh,
Oh my God,
uh,
Akhmat are going to win again. Akhmat are going to win again.
no, that game's got draw written all over it.
No, Akhmat are going to win again. It's got that written all over it. And Gorluka won't be there, so they are definitely going to play a rotated squad. Akhmat are winning. Let's go, Akhmat. Um, Even if it's a draw, it's a good result for Akhmat. But whatever. Right. So you think it's going to be a draw again, yeah?
No, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it's a win. I will say they're gonna win.
Fair enough. If they win, that would be huge.
If they win, that's game over. Like they've
No,
made it into the Europa League at least.
pretty huge, given, and they deserve it. They really do. If there's any club that deserves to be still in Europe, it's them. Just how good they've been.
For sure. We
So
all love
respect.
trains.
We all love trains. Trains are better than planes. I'll say it now. A good train, bad trains are horrible. Like the ceiling with the train is much higher, but like the floor on a plane is much better. I don't know if you agree with that. You've probably never been on a bad train though, because you're European.
The worst train I was ever on was in
We've
Russia during the
discussed this,
World
by
Cup.
the way. We have discussed this actual
So bad.
exact topic.
Oh my days. Yeah, yeah, no, like the train. Well, the thing is, like we don't have like you're talking pure like train city to city, not metros or anything like that. Yeah,
Hmm.
because we don't have any of that. Like we don't have metros or anything in Dublin. They're planning to make one in 15 years, which tells you just how far behind we are compared to every other city in the world. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, like trains here are alright. You don't get to sleep though. That's the only thing. Like you don't get to lie back like you would on a Russian train or something like that. Did you hear actually? This is a completely different story. There's a new train being built in Russia that it can go from St. Petersburg to Moscow in 2 hours.
there's already one that goes in like 3 hours and 30 minutes. That's an amazing train. Why do you need that train? Though surely you want to.
Two
I don't care.
hours.
I don't care. Surely you want to expand connectivity to the rest of the country.
Nah, Hanu. If you go on holidays to Russia now, when this thing is here, you don't even have to worry about going to Moscow or St. Petersburg. You go both. You go both.
It's a 4 hour train. It's a 3 hour 55 minute train or something.
It's
Already the super
yeah, but
fast one. That's not that big of a difference.
no. It's a massive difference. It's a hundred
Oh no,
percent of a
stop it.
difference. It's literally 100% of a difference.
They need to make a train that goes from Moscow to Vladivostok in like 3 days. The current is like 7 days, isn't it?
Yeah, but see, first of all, imagine who like why would you even like
Why? The Trans
who would be
Siberian is
using that?
huge.
I
Trans
know.
Siberian is a huge thing. I want to go on that, bro. The whole thing.
Oh, that's so. Oh no, that's just something I'm like. 99% of the time, you're looking at the window and everything looks the same.
I don't care.
I mean, enjoy it. You
Oh.
can enjoy your trip on the Trans-Siberian. I'll be traveling from Moscow to St. Petersburg 100 times in the time you get that done.
Now there's a Trans Mongol, I think it is, which takes you from Moscow all the way to Beijing. That sounds fun.
Yeah, there was a. Have you ever watched an Idiot Abroad?
No.
That's a great show. You'd enjoy it. It's basically this English bloke who goes all around the world fulfilling other people's bucket lists. Like essentially, it's just like have you know Ricky Gervais? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's like one of the directors and or producers or whatever you call him. And it's basically he just sends his mate who's like who hates traveling, who hates like new cultures and everything to do all these crazy things. It's hilarious. Check it out. I think you could probably get full episodes on YouTube, and if not, then you'll be able to get them somewhere.
I will. Thanks for the recommendation, but I would definitely take Trans-Siberian. You're hating. Guys,
Well,
let us
the thing
know.
is, I think it would be cool for a couple of hours, but then after that, it's like when do we get off? Like, at what point do we get to see something?
No, but you know what? I think if you have money, right, and if you can like hop on, hop off cities for a bit, then it's good.
Why don't you just take normal trains then?
I mean, you could if the end goal is to get to Vladivostok, but I imagine they'd be more expensive. So,
You just said if money's not an issue.
that's true. I did say that, but nah. I mean, fair
No,
enough.
I'd like to go to like. I wouldn't mind getting a train from like Moscow to like Rostov or something like that. It's probably overnight. Like I think it's like still 15 hours or something.
That's fine.
So I've
That's
never
not.
been to the south of Russia actually. I really want to go to like Rostov,
Or
Krasnodar,
you want to
and
go to
such.
Makashkala, revive Anzi.
Look, you can go there. I'll stick to the more of the resorts.
Okay, fair enough. Uh, Moving on back to football because this is meant to be a football podcast, even if it doesn't seem like
No,
that.
we're a podcast about trains and murders and like what else did we just discuss
That
there?
true crime
Yeah.
podcasts are huge though.
True crime podcasts are huge, but like you know what we need? Like we've already had players going to jail for like assault and stuff like that. It would be a massive, massive podcast if there was a Russian player who went to jail for murder. That'd be a different story. Like,
That's crazy. That's dark, but it's crazy.
look,
Let's
I'm
hope
not
that
saying I hope it happens, but
yeah,
like,
let's hope that never happens. But
look, if all I'm saying is if it does happen, we'll be there to capitalize on it. Okay, like that's it. That's all.
let's quickly move on. So Krasnodar Ren takes place next week, and the winner goes through to the Europa League. It's a straight knockout. Yes, you heard that right. Ren are absolutely terrible at football, just like Krasnodar. Artem, so what do you think? Who's going to win that one?
The boys Krasnodar. I think Kamavinga's still injured or
No, he's not. He played.
diseased or I don't know
He's not.
something.
He's nothing. He's fine.
Is he?
Yes.
Is he back playing?
Yes.
Really? I remember
Yes.
seeing news that he wasn't going to play against Krasnodar.
He was there, man. Where is Rangers? He played like 90 minutes.
Did he?
There he is. He didn't play 90, but he did play.
All right. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Like, we'll still get the win somehow, some
Rush it
way.
home.
Even hang on, even a draw would be all right, wouldn't it?
I don't know how a draw would work though.
I think is it head to head first or goal
It's head to
difference?
head
It's head to
first.
head.
It's head to head first, yeah.
All right. Well, if it ends up being a draw, then head to head. Away goals don't count in the group stages, so it ends up being goal difference, which then it's a problem. But
You just want to win.
yeah, no, we need a win.
We need to
Let's
win.
just go.
You think they'll win though? You there?
Yeah. Did you hear what I said?
No.
Okay. I said, well, let's just go for the win. We need
All
a
right,
win.
let's go for the win. Right. Wanderson hat trick finally happening.
That would be lit. That would be really good.
No, that would be amazing. I'd go mad. I would explode. That happens. Zenit are the disappointments. Even if they win next week, nothing is guaranteed. They need to win by more than a goal. They have to win, first of all. That's the main prerequisite. They have to win. They have to win by more than a goal to better Bruges head-to-head record. The goal difference is pretty similar, so it will come down to the last game against Dortmund. And if Haaland is in the mood, then Zenit are done. But what do you think? Artem, what do you think with this one? I don't think Zenit are making it, by the way. I don't think they're getting Europa League. Lokomotiv, I think,
I'll
might.
put forward some
Krasnodar, I think they will.
scenarios. Put forward some scenarios, right?
Right.
If actually no, that wouldn't even make any difference. Lazio, hang on. So basically, regardless of how it goes, if Zenit win, both Lazio and Dortmund are up.
Yes.
Because I know what's going to happen. Zenit are going to win next week, and it's going to look great, and then Lazio aren't going to give a shit in the last game, and Dortmund will. and Bruges will win or something and break our hearts.
Nah, I think Zenit. If that's gonna happen, I just wish Zenit lose 4-0 next week.
No, I would much rather have a chance.
No, you wouldn't.
I
It's more
would, of
depressing when
course
you
I
have a.
would. Why
No,
wouldn't
you
I rather
wouldn't.
have a
Stop lying
chance?
to yourselves. You
Of course
wouldn't.
I'd want to have a chance.
You would want to have a chance to just get depressed.
That happens all the time already. I'm used to it. It's just, but I'd still want to have the chance. Like if there's a week of hope, that's better than no hope at all. Am I wrong?
Artem Confucius is giving a. We're playing Arsenal Tula next. Away.
Rip.
That's a loss. Arsenal Tula away is always a crazy game for Zenit.
Arsenal
Oh
pull
my.
out at home as well. My first ever Zenit game, we fucking lost.
Semak is not making it out. Then it's Ural, and then it's Spartak and Dinamo.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a long, long time.
It's gonna be a cruel winter. Uh, we've been on 46 minutes. Jesus Christ, we've really spent time on this, haven't we? There's actually a lot more to discuss. So let's go with the quick bites. It's just, because we've got a Cherchesov interview to discuss. We've got Spartak being trashed to discuss. We've got a lot to discuss still. But first of all, let's start off with a rumor, a quick, nice little transfer rumor.
Go on.
Cagliari are apparently buying Ibrahim Tsallagov. Artem, what are your thoughts?
Big fan of this move. Big fan. Tsallagov is one of those players that he's one of those Bayramyan Kuzaev players,
Yeah,
like just
spot on.
really, really good utility player who can play in like 8 different positions. He's actually, if you're ever playing FM with one of the lower teams in the league, he's one of the best players to get because anyone gets injured and he slots in. Um, so to be honest, I really liked him at Zenit. Like I've always liked him as a player, so I hope he moves. It would probably be the weirdest Russian player to move abroad, but look,
You
that's
know, you know what
it's
though? I
great.
mean, yeah, the first thing is that this move is like the most that transfer rumor bot.
Yeah.
This is just the most transfer rumor bot
Mm.
thing in the world. Second of all, I would love to see it happen. I don't think it will, but I would love to see any Russian player abroad, honestly, man. Because you see Ukrainian players playing in Greece, you see Serbian players playing all over the world. Why is that not the case for Russia? Like, I don't care if it like a rotor player moves to like Belgium. I don't mind that at all. I would love to see it. It's just another player to track, and it's
Can
fun.
can I tell you why?
Why?
The limit makes average players very useful in Russia.
No, exactly. We've been knew what the limit does and
But that's
why
why,
it's.
because there's like they don't have to worry about making a career for themselves elsewhere. They know that they've got a career in Russia whenever they need it.
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like that is going to start to change soon. Like players will want to go abroad. I don't know if it's Cagliari, but I do hope that it does start to change.
I think a lot of players want to go to big leagues and play for big clubs and stuff like that. I just like let's be honest, right? If you were like Ibrahim Tsallagov, right? And let's
Yeah.
say you had an offer. Okay, let's even just say you get to stay at Sochi, you got the Cagliari, right? Realistically, who's paying you more money?
Sochi.
Realistically, like, do you want to learn a different language, adapt to a whole different culture, all of that kind of stuff, or do you want to sit in the sun in Sochi?
I mean, yeah, I know you're gonna get more playing time in Sochi as well, probably. So you're right, is the thing. And but I feel like I don't know. I think it applies more to younger players. Uh, Maybe not Salagov because you're already like 28, 29. But I just hope this move happens just for the sake of it. We'll have three Russian players in the Serie A. I count Shomurodov as Russian, by the way. He's just I tweet out RFN updates from RFN about Shomurodov. Shout out him. He got a really nice assist today for Genoa against Sampdoria. Very good player, and I think I'm really excited. So it'll be fun, man. That's the thing. Like look at him. He moved to Genoa. He was getting paid more at Rostov probably. He was getting more game time. He was a guaranteed starter. Now he's gone to Italy. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, respect to him.
Big respect to him. Moving on. Moving on to Spartak. Where is Spartak? Yeah. Uh, this is, you know what? This is the type of stuff that really depresses me about Russian football, Artem. Spartak have a new sporting director. This is weird because Spartak now have a sporting director. They have Tedesco, who's manager. They have Gazizov, who's the CEO, but does the exact same job as what a sporting director does, the exact same job. Then they have Fedun, who is awfully hands-on and interferes a lot. And then they have Fedun's advisor, the girl, that Zarema girl, who is also an advisor on transfers. And now they're saying that Shamil Gazizov could leave Spartak in the winter. This really makes me angry, man. Because Spartak, it's finally looking good for them. It's finally looking good for them. Your man's, they did the same thing to Thomas Zorn. Talented young guy, shown promise. Gazizov amazing at Ufa. And they're just being pushed out of the club because they're not Spartak people. You know, they're not from the Spartak fraternity. Why do you, first of all, why do you sign people if they're not from your stupid fraternity? And second of all, how do you feel?
I am going to take this story with a grain of salt for now because I think Spartak, like, I think they know they're in a good spot now, and like, what would be the point in changing something? Um, like, don't get me wrong, it could happen, but like until it does, I don't feel like that much attention needs to be paid to it.
Well, what do you think about them getting a sporting director when they already have Gazizov?
Oh, I don't know, man. Money laundering. That's you know, honestly, like
Money laundering. That's a good one.
any excuse. Like I don't know. Like I really don't know. Maybe there was like the guy Popov. It is Popov, isn't it? Who's
Yeah.
joining? I don't know. Maybe there's some things that Gazizov doesn't want to do. Like I really I really don't know. Like we don't have the full details. We don't have the full story. It is a strange one, obviously, when you see what's happening. But until Gazizov leaves, I'm assuming he's there and he's happy, or at least until he comments on it.
That's fair. Artem got paid a check by Lukoil. That's why he's being quiet about this. But I know he really hates the move. But like let's move on to something where we know what happened, right?
Let's do it.
Where you can't hide behind the
Is this
mysterious.
Cherchesov? Yeah.
Yes, it's Cherchesov. Is the man had an interview. Uproar. Stanislav Cherchesov bald. Okay, Mr. Bald. He went on Match Premiere or TV, one of those. He gave a whole interview. And then in the middle of the interview, when it was like the ad break, he cussed out the TV presenters, which is also came out. There's video of that. And by the way, guys, if you want some more spice, a guy who works at Match Premiere, Mikhail Polanov, who's like a proper presenter at Match Premiere, he's going to be on the RFN podcast.
Oh,
They didn't invite us because we're not big enough yet. Just kidding. But do check out the RFN podcast because I'm excited to hear what he has to say. He did say that he is going to talk about Cherchesov, so it'll be interesting. But this
that's
man,
big.
yeah, that is really big. The guy has 42,000 followers on Twitter. He's verified. Just love to see it. Um, yeah, but Cherchesov, he embarrassed himself on the pitch by losing 5-0 to a team that has never won 5-0. Then he went on an interview and embarrassed himself again. He said a lot of stuff, and I'll read out the whole thing, uh, and then there's just a couple of things that I really want to talk about because the rest is not that it's not that deep. The first is I was myself shocked by the result against Serbia. Sometimes a 5-0 loss is better than a 1-0 loss. This is stupid manager talk, makes no sense. About replacing Gilherme, he says that was the right step. We gave him a rest and time to recover. He shot back at Fedun, saying that he didn't know about Sobolev's injury and that Spartak are lying. He said about Russian football's lack of intensity. But this is the one that really caused uproar. This man said that the young players, Golovin, Chalov, Miranchuk, he did mention all three of those players by name, by the way, should show their worth to me. On the field, Zabolotny is far more useful. I'm better off with, quote, talentless Zabalotny. And he's saying talentless because people say that Zabalotny is talented. These are not his words, he's jabbing at the people. Then I am with Golden Chalov. Artem, why is this guy not sacked yet, honestly, man?
Like
What is he? What is he
that's the
doing?
kind of shit that should get you sacked. Like you should not be allowed to talk about your players like that, especially when like they're clear and beyond to everybody watching. They're the most talented players in Russia. Like all four of those, or sorry, all three of those players in the tweet. I said four because both Mirachuk's in that. Anyway, all three of those players are amazing, and they've shown their worth to every single coach they've played under. I don't
Yeah.
understand. I don't understand this at all, like whatsoever. Like I get it, Zablotny works hard, but that's pretty much all he
Yeah,
does.
we need to get that out as well, honestly. It doesn't matter if you work hard if you're trash. I don't know why managers do this nonsense. Oh, he works hard. He lost 5-0 to Serbia. He messed up four clear-cut chances. That's also. And the weird thing is, Golovin and Miranchuk aren't even young. They're older than 23 years of age. Golovin is like 25 next year, man. That's not young. Chalov is young, that's fine. But first, this is wrong on so many levels because, first of all, you got embarrassed and then a week later you're doing an interview. That's embarrassing, first of all. And then you're just berating your own national team players on air, clearly like this. And CSK released a statement as well. We're going to get into that in a minute. And it's just stupid, man. I don't know why this guy is still in the job. There's not many teams in the world that would still keep their manager after that embarrassing of performance. I don't care if he won the World Cup. And then he said about Stefanov and Maximenko, the guys are getting more experience at youth level. I don't understand how playing as a third choice goalkeeper in senior football, helps more than consistent football at youth level. This is another one of those out of touch statements. What do you think?
No, like the thing is, I understand where he's coming from. Like it's better to play than to sit on the bench, right? But the difference is that both of those keepers are good enough to play for the
Exactly.
first team. So, like, what is this about being a third choice? Why would either of them be a third choice when we both know that they're the ones that should be fighting for first place? They're the only two keepers right now in contention for the first spot.
Obviously, I mean, it's just there's some really, really strange statements coming out of that man's mouth. And I'm trying to find the statement CSK put out. So just bear with me for a second because CSK put out like a, where did it go? CSK put out, there it is. CSK put out an entire statement calling this man out, and I loved it. They were like, they called him a glorified PE teacher, bro. They did that. They did that, and I respect them for it. Let it translate for a second. Right. About the statement of the head coach of the Russian national team. The leadership of CSKA was surprised by yesterday's statements by the head coach of the national team, Stanislav Cherchesov, on the air of a federal channel. In sport, it has always been true that a professional coach considers himself to be at blame for failure or defeat, and Mr. Cherchesov not only becomes personal but also considers himself to considers him entitled to insult people. This is not the first time this has happened to our club. Many, for example, consider him to be a physical instructor, not a coach. We may or may not agree with this, but we will never allow ourselves to declare this either on television or in the print media. Although his view and the view of the football community are very different, it seems that Cherchesov is still looking at the football field from the goal. Adam, what do you think of this statement? I respect it. I love it. I'll be honest. I
I
love it.
absolutely love it, and I think that not only CSK fans, but I think fans from every club can appreciate like that club sticking up for their player like that. Like I think that is really amazing. I think they're dead on. What about you?
I agree, 100%. I love it. Some people were talking about how it's out of character for a club to do something like this. Well, it was out of character for the coach as well, right? Let's not act like he's right in this. And it's just so weird. Like this guy on a sporting basis, he shouldn't be in a job. Now he's calling out national team players. He's calling out young players by name. He's not even doing that pronoun game where he just says that, oh, the young players should do better. He's calling out players. And you're calling out Golovin and Miranchuk who did nothing wrong alongside Chalov, which is just it's baffling, really. Um,
You know what's really mad? Like I always think about this, and it's like, at what point, like the whole thing of like you die a hero or live long enough to become a villain. Like Had Cherchesov left the national team after the World Cup, man, there'd be statues of him outside every stadium in Russia. No doubt. And now I think he's just like, everybody's just like, you're so out of touch, you have no idea what you're doing. Like it's become ridiculous. Like I think, like when do you think the turning point was? Do you think it was like, a month and a half ago or whatever, or do you think it was earlier?
I think it was a month and a half ago because they started off well, and I wouldn't be as mad. Look, I think if Russia lost 1-0 to Serbia, I wouldn't have told them to sack Cherchesov, right? But it's the fact that Russia lost 5-0 to Serbia. It's the fact that the team selection is always terrible. And then especially now, it's the fact that he's going on television and berating his own players. That's the final straw.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw a manager do that? Like, go on TV, not even like on a post match press conference when you're just mad temporarily. This man did a press run. This man did a whole press run. But it's just sad. And there is, by the way, a report that where's the report? The report is basically, by the way, check out this interview. Check out this interview with Kai Connell. Amazing interview. Kai is a good friend of ours. Amazing
Amazing
interview.
guy, you might say.
Amazing guy, world class man. Follow him, follow me. I did the interview. Thank me later. But we're basically doing a series on Russian football, the people in Russian football working in social media. It's going to be a good series. We've got more coming for you, so stay tuned for that. But the other thing was that um, an exclusive came out saying that RFU has not ruled out the possibility of sacking Cherchesov and could replace him with Kuban Berdyev. Now, David came in here last week saying that he would replace him with Berdyev and that it could happen. But
Did you know
first
that
of all,
the decision to bring Berdyev in was actually made after listening to David on this podcast?
I'm not surprised. David has influence. I'm not surprised. But what do you think of this?
I mean, we discussed this last week, and I
Do
still
you think?
hold the same
Do you think?
opinion. I don't want it. I really don't want it.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a sidestep to me.
I've gotten so. Oh, I'm in dreamland with that Arsene Wenger thing.
I don't like Berdyev because he's going to call up Poloz, Bayramyan, and Noboa to the team.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to bring up Janaev. Janaev actually does get called up with Cherchesov as well. That's sad. Um, that's that. Do we have anything else to discuss this week?
Not really. I don't think.
Yeah, it was a bit of an abrupt end, guys, because we spent a lot of time obviously on European football
And
and
trains and
and trains. Um, but this is only the start. Like this, at least right now, like 80% of our pod is football. Uh, in 3 weeks' time, it's going to be 20% because of the winter break.
well,
So
even like we said, it's only a matter of time until we're doing a murder podcast from Russian football. So
yeah, it's this like count yourselves lucky if you like listening to football because the first like 20 podcasts are football, and then after that podcast just begin to just
how
we're
many have
going to
we
be
done?
this is the 17th, I think.
How many?
17.
That's crazy. It feels like time is just flying.
Does
Anyway,
it? I feel like 17 is a bit low. I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know
Um,
when you think of 17, like 17 from August until now.
I mean, 2020 has flown though. Like, there's been no months in this year. It's just been 1 year.
Yeah, that's facts.
Let's not depress ourselves though. Listen to the podcast. Give us a like. Come on the podcast, please.
Did you just say listen to the podcast at the end of the podcast?
Yes, I did. Listen to the podcast. We might have extra content coming for you. I know I say that every week, but I mean it this time. I mean it every week. It's just
This time is
content.
different.
This time is different. Yeah, this time is this time is different. But yeah, interact. Thank you for your support as always. And Artem, I'm going to let you sign off again.
Yeah, guys. So if you enjoyed, leave a gold medal on Sport Rex. CSKA just scored.
Did
Leave a
they?
like on YouTube.
Did they?
Yeah, no, but it's ruled for offside,
Oh,
unfortunately.
come on,
That would have
man.
been an absolutely fantastic outro. Anyway, like I said, gold medal on Sport Rex. Like, comment, whatever on YouTube. Anything to discuss. If you enjoyed this episode, you enjoy any other episode, let us know. And we will see you next week.